Hello, good morning. Welcome to the program Dialogue, coming to you from the stables of Liberty Television, Voice for All, and Vision for All. It is the first edition of the program for the week. It's Monday. The month is already running as it is. The month is going. But then, what that means is that by Saturday, the people of Ekiti will be going to the polls to elect another governor. At least we know the incumbent is not running. But then, the person who is running is the incumbent deputy governor, who some people will say was anointed by the outgoing governor. Already as it is, Fayose is already shouting, accusing the APC of planning to rig. But then, if what happens in Edo, Ondo, Anambra in the last few months back is anything to go by, we expect to see an election that at the end of the day, probably not just stakeholders, but even people outside the country will praise. But one thing definitely for sure, I'm sure, we are not going to see the deployment of military or max security people this time around. At least we are not going to see the blocking of Akure Ekiti Road. We are not going to see the grounding of jets in Akure Airport, disallowing people to go to Ekiti. At least that much we can say. At least on that much we can say the president might not allow, unlike what we saw in the last election. By the way, the name is Abdulaziz Ahmed Kadri, saying welcome to the program. Politics is still what we are discussing this morning, or what we are opening the week with. Last week, if you were with us here, we talked about the RAPC, the issues involved. First, it was Danjuma Serki and Abdullahi Umar Yaro who actually took on that issue. On Friday, we had the publicity secretary, or somebody who said he's the publicity secretary, talking about Samuel Kuremok here with another guest, talking about the chairman of African People Alliance, APA, the party that actually went into alliance in 2015 with the APC. And we actually dialogue on that issue. But so many issues are coming up. I mean, if you've been following the development within the APC, R Apc, there's so many accusation and counter-accusation. Yesterday I was listening to Buba Galadima and he raised so many other issues, along with Umayahu, the former chairman of Labour Party. So many issues are coming up. So, why not, if not, as we say in our local parlance, open the week with that issue this morning. And this morning we have with us three people who were, did I say were? Of course, some of them were card-carrying members of APC. Some are still card-carrying members of APC. But this morning I was asking somebody jokingly, where do you belong to? RAPC or NPDP? Or APC or PDP? Which one at the end of the day? So this morning we have with us, let me start from my far right. Card-carrying member of the APC who said there is nothing like RAPC because according to him, the party is not deformed, so there is no need to reform it. Talking about Abdullahi Umar Yaro. Umar, good morning.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
You're welcome to our studio.
Good morning, viewers.
All right, next to him is Murtala Muhammad Abubakar. I don't know if Murtala is still in the APC or RAPC, but in the discourse, you'll get to know. Murtala, you are welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning, viewers.
All right. Somebody we are having, I'm sure you are familiar with the faces of Murtala and Umar, but for a legal mind, and I'm sure from now henceforth we will be having him, even though we had to drag him all the way from Zaria to Kaduna this morning, talking about Barrister Jafar Abbas Ibrahim. Barrister, good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
Oh, no, you don't say barrister. I don't know if I'll put the Esquire.
No.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, let me add for the sake of the listener that at a point, Barrister was, he led the campaign team of the current governor of Kaduna State, talking about Nasiru Ahmad El-Rufai. That is, I think that would be good for emphasis. All right, let me start from my far right. Umar, so many issues coming up. The issue of RAPC, and I mean the latest we are seeing is the statement coming from Babatunde Ogala, the legal advisor of the APC, saying RAPC's action is criminal, and said so many issues. But we've seen so many issues that have been ongoing, and we thought by now, with the coming of Oshomole, aggrieved members will have, even I'm sure even you will have been aggrieved because you ran for a particular office, which at the end of the day it didn't go well at the last convention. One will have thought with the coming of Oshomole, people will sheath their sword and allowed due process. But that is not what we are seeing. What do you think is responsible for this uproar we are hearing?
Thank you very much for having me, viewers. First and foremost, you're trying to put words into my mouth.
Okay.
I've never been aggrieved. I'm not aggrieved.
Okay.
I contested for a post to which I stepped down for somebody.
Okay. You stepped down your own.
Willingly on my own.
All right.
So let's get that fact right.
Okay.
Secondly, considering the RAPC and what the legal advisor is saying, is simple. They have breached every right in the constitution of APC.
Okay.
Yes, even the Article 20 they are talking about, that there was no yes or no vote, still states you cannot have an ESCO without a convention. And we are seeing them listing chairman, vice chairman, legal advisor. You cannot legitimize something by doing something illegal and legitimize it. Simply, after just complaining that what somebody has done is illegal. Secondly, as Oshomole came, and even the day they announced that they formed a reform APC, Oshomole was meeting with the members of APC in the National Assembly. So there are avenues we've opened for dialogue. But what we will not do is we will not dialogue with inconsequential people that want something different. People who dialogue with are stakeholders of the party. But you cannot decide not to come to a convention of a party and complain about the convention. You cannot do that. If you want to complain, or if you feel aggrieved, then take part. If you take part and you are being cheated, or you feel something has happened, it's a different scenario.
You feel they should fight from within and
they
not
should
from
fight
outside.
from within, not from outside.
All right.
You can't refuse to come to the convention and say the convention is illegal.
All right. Musha, let me come to you. I mean, you were one of those, I'm sure, from Kaduna, that you belong to the group that even petitioned then when issues have been going on and what have you, things like that. And one of the issues that came up has been Oyegu, the former chairman, was part of the problem. At least many people have alleged that. One would have thought that with the ouster of Oyegu, you will give Oshomole the opportunity to actually listen to you, especially with the statement he made after his election that he was ready for reconciliation. The president said so. With what is going on, people will say it is a way that the PDP, people factionalize the PDP with NPDP just to destroy the party. That is the same thing we are seeing happening now. I mean, what would you say to that?
No, you see, let me make it clear. You see, this what led to the emergence of RAPC has been there for long, and we have been calling attention to it, and we have tell whoever is concerned and those in position of authority to correct this illegality that continue to accumulate, that finally produce the Adam Oshomole-led national NEC, that this thing you are doing is going to come with repercussions. Okay. Now, this process of convention is not an event. It's a process that accumulates into that particular aspect. You know, we have what we call world congresses. Yeah. We have local government congresses. We have state congresses. And in most of these states, you know, these congresses did not help. And even the delegates, those who form part of the delegate that went to Abuja to elect the so-called NEC now, are not legally constituted. They don't have the legal standing to go and represent the party because they did not follow due process. Like in Kaduna, for instance, it was an imposition. Two people sat in their parlor, they draw a list of delegates and forward it to Abuja. We complained, we wrote a petition. In fact, even where members were asked to go and purchase forms to contest for the congresses, the form was never given to them. They were disenfranchised. And at the end of the day, you came to Abuja and to say that those who came through illegal means, that they are the people who are going to represent such Kaduna, for instance, in that party. And this thing happened in over 24 states where we have parallel congresses. And this thing was not addressed. But remember, even Mr. President himself recognized that there was problem in the party. And he set up a committee under Ahmed Bola Tinubu to come and reconcile. But because those who are, working against the interests of the party, like the governors and the Oyegun, they frustrated that effort. So no reconciliation took place. And then it was the same mindset that they don't want certain personality in the party and they don't want to work with them, and they continue to antagonize them. And they go to Abuja, and even the procedure of the convention was not properly followed. So if, for instance, you want to enjoy legitimacy, you need to abide by the rules. And then, like typical of some of them, political party is about, you need to be organized, you need to be persuasive, and you also need to abide by rule. But you see, what we have as people in APC today, like Umar, is just people who can insult, who can tell you that you are inconsequential, you are nobody, and your presence on or going out is of no importance to them. This is not how party is run. That is what led to the. Look, is the word you use. Now, this is what brought about reform. This party needs to be reformed because political party is a very important ingredient in democracy, without which democracy cannot strive. And if the democracy did not strive, there will be no development. Right, that is why R Apc has come to stay to bring about this very important reform.
Let me come to you, Barrister. Now, people will say, I mean, when you have issues like this, we saw what happened 2014, 2015, which led to what PDP is today. And talking about maybe some of the issues they raised, we had people who today had gone back to the PDP, who in 2014 called PDP all sorts of names. But today, they came back to APC, accepted, and today they are back to that same PDP that they called all sorts of names today. Are we sure we are not seeing a repeat of that? And people will say, if you're actually aggrieved, why not move and form another party? Why still having your appendage to the APC?
Appendage to the APC? I think to fully appreciate this development, one has to cast his mind a little back to appreciate the events that led or culminated to the formation of RAPC. At the beginning, soon after the election, especially in both federal and states, certain powers circumvent the actual political parties and the elected and took over power and control of both the party and government. They decide who joins the government, they decide who participate even in various strata and offices of the political system. And it reached to a level that the politicians began to raise alarm and complain. They are not listened to at all. And at a certain level, those in power were beating their chest that it was their money they invested. So nobody has the right to raise an eyebrow for them. So that issue of violation of the constitution, rules of the APC and that of Electoral Act has been there right from the inauguration of the government at all strata. And then after that, this thing continued. And because of this crisis and misunderstanding, and called to the national executive to intervene, they set up the Umar Abdullahi Yaro committee, who was the Northwest Zonal Vice Chairman, to intervene and look at the problem and see a way out.
The position is still
yes. Unfortunately, the government house APC in Kaduna State and other things did not give Umar Abdullahi Yaro even a breathing space. And what he ended up with having his house destroyed, demolished. Then secondly, this crisis continues within the party. And that gave birth to another committee of Masari, Bello Masari Committee.
The governor of Katsina State.
Yes, and the same thing, the executive in Kaduna State, the governor, did not give the Masari-led committee even a chance to come in and do something. So Masari abandoned it and left. And the last committee was Tinubu Committee. Tinubu Committee was inaugurated. The same thing happened. And yet the National Executive...
Oni Committee, the one that visited us after the demolition of Fungo's house.
Yes, the Payemi Committee, the Oni Committee, the Shegun Ogni Committee. You see, all these committees were set up, they were just set up just to dramatize to the world that they are concerned that they want to settle. But nothing happened and nothing came out of it. So in Kaduna State, they beat off their chest and they operate the party like a cult, understand? They abandoned the constitution. And there were congresses. Elections were supposed to take place from ward level to local government to state, which will culminate with the national convention. People purchased form, even from ward level. They had their receipts, but they are refused forms.
Those are some of the issues raised. And when we talk about grievances, but now, do you see factionalization of the party as solution to some of these grievances raised?
No, you see, that's not the proper way to put the question, to put the thing. I think if you want to be healthy, you know the behaviors and the attributes you follow. If you take bad foods and other things, you fall sick. That's correct. You see, this APC, right from the beginning, they worked for crisis, and they had it. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is very clear. If there is faction, that what happened in the name of convention was a drama. What happened in Abuja to say that there was election is not sufficient to bring boxes and put it. Refer to the security. The security and even INEC report clearly indicate that there were no election at the ward level, local government and state. It was just a drama. So how can you tell us that in Abuja you brought out boxes, you dramatize, and you see that you give some people some papers and they drop into the box? You are not able to show to the world how those votes were counted, and you are telling us the Constitution allows...
Barrister, those are some of the issues raised. But of course, your learned colleague, the National Legal Advisor, Babatunde Ogala, is disagreeing with that point. But let's not...
No, he said that it's illegal, it's criminal. It's not. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says whenever there is a faction in a party, the Constitution did not state or specify the procedure where a faction will emerge at all.
All right.
So once there's a faction, then the Constitution allows for what is happening.
All right. But
that's nothing criminal.
Let me come to you. Because some of these grievances raised have been grievances that have been in the open for quite some time. Last week we were talking here, when Mr. President said 2019, I might not go around campaigning. A lot of people were like, this will be good. Because in 2015, 2014, there are people today, like I always say, who might not even qualify to be councillors in local government, ended up finding themselves in positions because of the whirlwind of the president. And people say, okay, if the president is not going to go around campaign in 2019, we don't see how anyway he will raise some people's hand and they will emerge going on his whirlwind. Those grievances are there. And the reason why even the electorate will tell you that we are not going to do SAC again. We do Chenchenta, as we say here in the north. But then, one will have thought, like we saw Taraba State did, both the two factions that emerged after the congresses actually visited the chairman and he listened to both of them and he said, we are ready for reconciliation. Why can't other states follow suit as against factionalizing the party?
You see, let me make it clear. You see, as far as we are concerned, the Adam Oshomole-led NEC is illegal because the process that produces is illegal. So how can you
Why
now...
don't these people go to court and stop the convention before even allowing the convention to hold?
It's not everything that you go to court. These are political issues. and the political issues are better dealt with politically. And are they waiting? Is this same mindset of some politicians to say that win the election no matter what it costs? When we get let them go to court, and before then we know how to manipulate our ways. Election is around the corner, and we cannot wait for that somebody to take advantage of the long process of the law to perpetuate himself in position himself and continue to wreak havoc on the party. And this is exactly what happened during the past chairman, when he was doing all these anti-party activities, undemocratic tendencies, exhibiting tendencies that completely negate the spirit of the party. The people say we should continue to tolerate it. Mr. President refused to act, and nobody called him to order. And this time around, election is around the corner. We want our party to win election. So we cannot wait for somebody who is illegally constituted to come and continue to waste our time. At the end of the day, by the time the court will decide, we'll come to realize that we don't even have platform or structure or leadership that will lead us into an election. So this is important, and that is why this reform is necessary, and that is why majority of the people are supporting this very important move, and it's the only way that the party can be salvaged from the hand of these undemocratic people who are pretending to be democratic.
I mean, we'll take a break, but before the break, Umar, let me ask you this question. When we come back, you answer that question, because Motion was talking about having a platform, because as it is, people are saying RAPC is not a registered political party. If somebody is going to be a member of RAPC and not APC as it is, at the end of the day, how will somebody go to election at the end of the day on that platform? Is that a possibility? Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Umar will answer that question. Please stay with us.
Let's just pay now. The kids are bored. I am too.
We're traveling next week. We can't just waste money like that and subscribe for a month when we won't be around to use it.
Worried about wasted subscription? Then make a smart choice by paying for when you want with our groundbreaking new StarTimes Pay Per Day package. You can now pay for exactly how long you want. A day, 2 days, a week? The choice is yours. Never worry about wasted subscription again. Just enjoy all your favorite channels and much more. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Liberty TV, voice for all, vision for all.
Thank you for being there. The program is Dialogue, and this morning we are looking at the APC internal crisis. And our guests this morning, 3 members of the APC, even though 2 are breaking away with the RAPC. But some people said they hope that they come back to be one whole party at the end of the day. Talking about from my far right, we have Abdullahi Umar Yaro, who still remains in APC and doesn't believe in the RAPC. Next to him is Murtala Abubakar Muhammad, and my immediate right, we have Barrister Jafar Abbas Ibrahim, somebody who actually led the campaign team of Governor Nasir El-Rufai in 2015. Well, Before that break, Umar, I asked you that question. I mean, we know elections are around the corner. If you belong to R Apc and not the APC, can you actually say you have a platform that you can run for an office?
Thank you very much. Before I answer that question, what is really obvious here is that nobody wants to answer a direct question asked to him. Murtala was asked, why don't they give Adams Oshumole a chance? We've not heard anything about. He spoke for more than 5 or 10 minutes. We've not heard anything about that. The barrister was asked. The barrister was asked, why don't you go to another party rather than form? He gave us a story of the History Channel. You see, what you are asking me now is simple. This is where they have a problem. From day one, when we wanted to have the word Congress, they were busy forming faction. We had the word Congress. Local government Congress, they were busy forming another function. We had now we are having a convention. When we are having the convention, rather than be in the convention, they were busy forming RAPC. The elections will come. INEC only recognizes APC. So if the president wins now, are you going to tell me that the president is not legitimate? If you are saying Adams Oshumole is not legitimate, is Buba Galadima legitimate? Was he even near a convention? If you agree that people have bought form, even at the ward level, what did Buba Galadima buy? That today you are calling him your chairman.
Still on that,
in a party.
We see people who participated at the convention. Names that are coming up, for instance, even though the Senate President have not said anything, the Speaker House of President have not said anything.
Those are rumors.
You know, where I'm coming to that. Yes, let's assume they are so. But we see their names being pushed around. And those were people who actually participated in that convention.
Obviously, and those are rumors, because these are people that do, as at this moment, if they are aggrieved, we are dialoguing with them. But people that, from day one, right from the ward level, they never went to the congresses. They were forming different factions which INEC do not even recognize. And they come back to tell you that what happened in the convention is illegal. That is what I find disturbing. Because you have to be part of something to know whether the process is legal or illegal. You just can't sit down, form another association and say the whole thing another person is doing is illegal. Until date, the only party INEC recognizes is APC, not RAPC. INEC doesn't know if there's a party called RAPC. So you can either join it, come back and dialogue, or leave the party. But you cannot be a member of the party.
All right.
Forming factions in the party.
All right. President, let me come to you. Because when issues like this come up, and incidentally, I mean, the three of you have been part of Kaduna APC. In 2014, 2015, you worked for the success of this government. In your own case, you actually led a team that went to the grassroots, went to the nook and crannies of this state to canvass votes for the current administration. But as it is, like I always ask, when you go back to the people today, can you still tell them, look, the people I came and canvassed your vote for, I'm no more with them? I mean, what kind of message will you be sending to them? And how do you expect the people to look at you?
Well, the people will look at us as people with integrity, people who have mission and vision, people who have commitment and zeal. You see, it's very rare in a democratic setup in Nigeria like this, you have people who don't follow government at all levels, irrespective of whatever they cook or they dish out to the people. You see, we had a manifesto during the campaign, which we sold out to the people. We explained to them in all sectors of life what the government will do as soon as they are voted into power. No sooner had they been inaugurated, the APC government of Kaduna State completely derailed from the principal objective of setting up that government in all sectors, name it, education, health, infrastructure development, human development, in all sectors. If you have to mark the APC-led government under Nasru El-Rufai in Kaduna State, I'm sorry, you don't have to ask them to repeat. You ask them to withdraw from the, if it were an exam, because they cannot perform. So this is what propelled us to just decide to leave the party, because we would leave another day to tell the people that the one we campaigned at that time, we realized we have to part ways with the goal, because we realized that he derailed and he became an emperor. So that's principally why we had to do that. And the RAPC, for that matter, which Umar was saying, was not essentially, did not come into being for the purposes of contesting elections. It's erroneous to even think that way. No, it's a political convenience. It's a coagulation of a political interest, in the same way that APC was formed by ACN, AMPP, PDP, and CPC. So the same coagulation that remained in APC is what formed the RAPC. So it is made just to save the political office holders that are currently now in the National Assembly from losing their seats, which the Constitution allows.
Okay, fine. I mean, that was the point I'm getting. Now, Barrister,
APC will be sinking.
All right. We hope that doesn't happen for the sake of the electorate. But let me take you on the statement credited to the National Legal Advisor, Mr. Ogala. And he said, and let me quote him, Mr. Galadima has committed the offense of impersonation as defined and punishable under Section 484 of the Criminal Code, and the authorities will be requested to do their work in bringing him to account. I mean, what would be your reaction to that? Because he said Galadima did not contest for the chairmanship of APC in the last convention.
You see, you find that if you are a teacher or lecturer in a school, and you lecture or you teach a student, and at the end of the day you examine them, the tendency sometimes you find that some, if you give them a test, will score 0%. Others will score 100%. Some will score A, others will score F. So Ogala is expressing an opinion, purely his opinion.
On the legal,
No. Anyone could cite the provision of the criminal code. I can cite that of the penal code, which is applicable law in Kaduna State. So it's just so what is important there? And if today I decide to call myself the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what offense have I committed? I mean, you see, it depends on the outlook.
We saw Abiola did that and he ended up as a treasonable fellow.
No. Abiola did that because he contested an election and they refused to declare his election, and they cancelled the election. So that one is entirely different, because he seems to have formed a parallel government. But in this case, I mean, Buba Galadima and Co and others and all of us were at one time members of the APC. And if you refer to the now security report and that of the INEC, they will confirm to you that there were no elections at all levels.
All right,
so what Ogala is saying, I think is purely limited to his own personal opinion, and you need to give him that, because appreciate that is because you need to see that he's very emotional and sentimental because of what had happened. So it's not law.
Okay, like I said, of course, you've been consistent on the issue of grievances and what have you. You have documented some of the anomalies that happened, especially here in Kaduna, transmitted to the national body under the past chairman. But let's assume that Oshomole decide to visit those grievances today. Do you think that will bring an end to this crisis we are seeing?
You see, Oshomole at this particular time cannot address many of these grievances.
Why?
Because they are time bound. One of it is that many people wanted to contest for position at various levels, both at ward, local government, and the state level. Now they were disenfranchised. They were denied even when they have paid. Now no election held. Is Oshomole now going to call for another Congress at the local government, ward level, and state level? It's not going to do that.
But don't we see political trading?
No, listen.
For the development of your party.
You see, when you are analyzing things like this, you take antecedent of the personality, the party into account. This is a political party who do not believe that people matter, opinion matters. All they want is just few self-styled people who are in position of authority, who believe that always their interests should supersede that of the public interest, that of the party, and then every other thing. And those people are still the one calling the shot. And even Oshomole himself, they are the same people who brought him to power. He's not an independent chairman who is going to work on his own volition. He's going to be only dancing to the dictate of their tune. So this is the reality. So if, for instance, these people that, Oshomole cannot undo all of these things, and then we are approaching election, these are the same character who are going to produce the flag bearers of those people who are going to contest for various positions, from the National Assembly to the State Assembly, Chairman, Senate, and the rest of them. And once and these are people who are not duly elected, who have no mandate of the people. So those who put them there, they are the ones who are going to determine
the mandate of the majority,
who are going to determine who they will support to go to the National Assembly or to become a governor or whatever. So the problem will remain, and will continue to move in a vicious cycle. This is what we want to avoid.
Omar, based on this, what is happening? Because we saw this happen with PDP. The formation of NPDP, we gave people the opportunity. But like Barrister said, this might be an opportunity for especially elected members, especially lawmakers, not to lose their position. Because the moment a party is factionalized, it's a reason for people to cross-carpet to other political parties. But won't this affect the APC in 2019, like we saw happen to PDP in 2015?
Absolutely. But you see, thank God, Murtala has debunked what Barrister said. And he said why Adams Oshomole cannot settle them, because things are time-bound. They wanted to contest for certain things. So the RPDP is all about contesting for something. This is the word of somebody from RP.
But you will agree that
it's not legal. Is it not legal?
No.
Is it not legal?
You are debunking what Barrister
Is it not
said.
democracy?
This is the word of somebody from RP.
But you will agree that there are issues on ground.
Absolutely.
That governors became emperors in some states and did not allow things to happen.
There are issues
as alleged.
There are issues on ground. Absolutely. Nobody is disputing that. I, Umar, here cannot sit down and tell you that there are no issues on ground. I will be lying. The party chairman, Adams Oshomole, has said it. There are issues on ground. And what we're doing right now is we're trying to listen to every aggrieved person. And let's solve these issues. He has said that on national TV. The national leader, in fact, has a committee to solve these issues. Ahmed Bola Tinubu. But right now, the signal we are getting from few of them is the same thing Murtala is saying. Look, we wanted to contest for something. I want to contest for something. And I was not given the platform to contest, so I will not negotiate. And the right thing to do is you want to contest. And you will not negotiate. Because the only avenue to solve these issues is either to negotiate or you leave the party. So if you are not willing to negotiate, you leave the party. We saw some of them leaving, some aggrieved members that left the party and even said, we are not even joining another political party. We will remain in politics, but we do not agree with what APC is doing.
In Kaduna here,
we saw it, which is understandable.
We saw Haruna Said.
If Murtala wants to contest and he was not given the platform, he can go to ABGA, PRP, PDP and contest. Because what we have are primaries. What we do primaries. We are a democracy. And if you don't win, there's no constitutional backing that stops you from going to another party.
Moving out of that party, wouldn't that affect the chances of the party?
You see, in every political dispensation, once it's close to elections, we see alignment and realignment.
Okay.
It is a basic fact of politics. We have serial contestants too. If they know they can't get it here, they move here. If they know they can't get it here, they move here. We have them. So you cannot do anything
those
about...
Labaran Maku called nomadic politicians.
Yes, it is normal in every dispensation in political... in Nigeria, you tend to see people moving from one party to another, moving from... In fact, we saw somebody that moved from PDP to CPC to... what is it called? PDM. Now he's back to PDP. They keep going around.
All right, I'll come back to you. Barrister, hold on.
Just an addendum to what Umar has said. Now we take into consideration now, currently, Throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there are 17 suits against APC related to the Congresses. 17. Now there was a judgment from Imo State against the Congress conducted in Imo, where the Federal High Court said that there was no Congress and directs that there should be a Congress. Now, assuming these 17 suits across the Federal Republic of Nigeria ended in the same way with the judgment in Imo State, what is the basis now for those members to go and participate in the future primary election that will produce legislators and candidates for various offices, including the presidential election?
Well, that was where I was coming from, and that maybe by way of rounding, because we're already out of time. As it is you politicians versus the people. Because the people have the final say. At the end of the day, they will be the one to decide who is going to occupy what position. And with what is happening, you think the people have the confidence in you politicians to do what they have to do at the end of the day?
Yes, you see, the people trust us.
Okay.
The people listen to us because these guys are not idiots. They have their faculty of assessment. No,
they are not. They are not.
They have faculty of assess. They assess what you do and what you say and the promises you make, whether you fulfill them or not. So if you did not, these people will change their minds.
All right, let's leave it at that. The electorate are not idiots. They know what to do when the time comes. I mean, in 5 seconds.
Yes.
In 5 seconds, I want you to make that quickly. 2019, do you see people going to vote for party or candidates with what is going on?
Well, definitely, I strongly believe that party have a very important role.
It's a platform for candidates to emerge.
Because without it, you cannot even emerge. And any party that exclude people from participation, there is no popular participation at all levels. They will end up not getting the best that they will push to the electorate to vote. And that is what is the APC have done, and which is going to harm them.
But Umar, I mean, we've seen all that has happened, and what have you, things like that. We saw it happen to PDP and PDP. We are now seeing it happen to APC. What lesson should we learn from all this?
Obviously,
10 seconds,
we should learn to do a lot of dialogue. We should learn to be patient with one another.
Okay.
And obviously, what happened in NPDP is different from what is happening in our APC.
Okay.
Because there are two different. In NPDP, we had 5 governors aggrieved, and these ones we have people that have been aggrieved from 2015 till date and have refused to dialogue with the party.
So you feel the situation is not irredeemable?
The situation is redeemable.
It's redeemable. All right, let's leave it at that. Umar Abdullahi Yaro, a member of APC. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Murtala Abubakar Muhammad, APC, R Apc.
We are going to come up with our position this week. The APC Akida and Restoration are going to make a joint statement as regards to our next move.
Fine. So let's wait. Let's wait. What I mean, Murtala is adding to that Akida and all right. Thank you very much. Barrister Jafar Abbas Ibrahim. I mean, the first time I'm having Barrister here. Well, Barrister, I'm sure, though you are quite a distance, but we will be having more of you in the days ahead. Yes, because you played a great role in bringing this government to power.
I've left the APC.
And we are holding him accountable for all the calamity that has befallen.
He said he has left the APC.
Yes, I've left it.
There you have.
Thank you
for investing your time with us this morning. That is the size of the program. Join us tomorrow, same time, same station, where we shall bring other resource people and another interesting topic. Abdul Aziz Ahmed Kadir saying good morning.